lovelies, welcome back. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Yasmin. Thank you so much for being here. So for today's video, I am going to be doing another tea time video. My last one was tea time on my exes. If you guys have not seen it, definitely check it out on my channel. Oh my gosh, it's definitely one to watch, and there's definitely been a lot of drama around that. But anyways, so today I'm going to be doing another tea time video. I did ask what kind of videos you guys wanted to see on Instagram, and a few of you did say another tea time video. So I do have a different kinds of types of tea times I could do. So I have a couple in my head, but today I wanted to do tea time on shoplifters. So I worked in retail for 8 years before I started working at the bank, and I've had a lot of experiences with shoplifters, but I have some in particular that are just have always been in the back of my head, especially when I was working, just, you know, the way they looked, just pretty much what they look like, what they do, what they like to steal, and when they come around the store and stuff. So I definitely have some info for you guys. Well, some stories for you guys, not really info. But anyways, if you guys are curious and want to know what kind of shoplifters I've dealt with, then let's just go ahead and get started. And of course, like the last tea time video, I do have wine here with me today. I have Stella Rose pink wine today, and it's bomb. Love this lipstick. No stain, no transfer. The first one I want to start with is my favorite one. She is somebody who I caught shoplifting in Styles, which I'll tell you that story first. And then after years of working there, I quit. And then when I moved back, I started working at Rue, and I saw her again in Rue. So let's start with Styles. I think this is probably like 2014, 15-ish. I was a part-time assistant, I think, at the time. And that day I was working with my store manager. Oh, and just a disclaimer, I do not mention anyone's names or anything like that in these types of videos unless they want to go ahead and, expose themselves like my last ex did on my Tea Time on My Exes video. He totally exposed himself. I never mentioned his name, but he did anyway. Anyways, I don't like to expose them. I'm just going to tell you my story. I'm not going to mention names, even though I know her name and she lives here. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say. So anyways, so I was working at Styles, and I was working a shift with my store manager, and there was nobody in there. It was completely dead. If you guys remember Styles for Less in Bullhead City, it's a very small store. It wasn't that big, and it was just the two of us in there. And then it comes in, walks this girl, and she's very nice, blah blah blah. Well, not that nice. She just gave me a weird vibe. But anyway, she had a bag with her. And, she was shopping around, and I noticed that she had some jeans. I think she had maybe like 1 or 2 pairs of jeans, and those were really expensive jeans. They're like the Unina brand jeans. Those were probably like $38 to $40 jeans. So she asked me for a fitting room. I was like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. So I led her to the first fitting room, and she was in there for, I don't even think she was in there for that long. And mind you, she was the only customer in there still. Like nobody was in there during this whole time. And then she walked out, and she started walking towards the edge of the store, just kind of walking down that way. So me, of course, you're supposed to go in and check the fitting rooms, right? So I go in there, and I look in there, and one of the pairs of jeans is in there. And then in the pocket, I find a sensor, of course, and it's the ink sensors. So I'm like, okay, sensor, only 1 pair of jeans. She took 2. I would know because I put the number on the door, and I took the item from her hand, so I know she had 2. So then I go over to my store manager right away, and I'm like, dude, there's a sensor right here, and trying to tell her like, hey, it's her. Obviously, nobody else is in there, and we had to clean the fitting rooms prior also, And then my store manager confronted her, and then she got all defensive. She's like, oh, because I think she got kind of like offensive, She was pretending that she didn't take the jeans. She doesn't know what we're talking about. Like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, And then she goes up to her and says, oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take a look at your bag. And then she just goes off and says, do you know the rights and my rights and in California and in this place and blah, blah, blah. And then she asks her, and she tells us, I'm from California. My name is Alex, which was not her name, by the way, obviously. She's like, I did not do that, and I know my rights. And then she's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to call the police. And then for some reason, she turned to me, after having a discussion with my store manager, and I was just standing there, just minding my own business, just hanging over the counter, being like, bitch, you got caught. Just admit that you have the fucking jeans in your bag. Give it to us and you can just leave, And then she turns over to me, and then she's like, well, are you going to do anything about it? And I'm just like, like, you're really trying to, like, fight me right now? So then she started walking around the counter as I was also starting to walk around the counter. And then I was like, yeah, well, I can do something about it. And I was walking around the counter at the same time. My store manager stopped us halfway. And then she's like, you know what? Just go. Just leave. Whatever. Like, she didn't want us fighting. I was so ready to fight her, by the way. I'm just like, I don't even care right now. Like, you are pissing me off. And you're trying to instigate me and trying to fight me for no fucking reason because your dumbass got caught. So maybe she was mad at me because she got caught. Like, that's stupid. Like, first of all, you did it in the most obvious way. There's nobody in the store. You had 2 jeans in there and there's sensors in the other pairs of jeans and the other one's missing. That is a very stupid way to steal something. I'm sorry, but I've seen some stupid ways, by the way, which is the other ones I'm going to tell you about. But this one was just like, okay, this one's like my first person that was trying to fight me. Then whatever, she left. My store manager got the license plate number, blah, blah. I don't know what happened after that. But anyways, fast forward to I started working at Rue. And she would come in to the store, and every single time, she acts like she doesn't remember me, but she always gives me attitude. 80% of the time, she gives me attitude, and the other 20, she's nice and pretends, oh my God, thank you. Oh my God, that's so cool. Thank you. Like, she's very, very, very fake. Very fake. And then, oh my God, what's in my eye? But anyways, yeah, so every time I don't even help her when I ring her up. I just ring her and I just have her go on her way. Like, I don't ask her anything. I don't talk to her. That's only if I have to. Other than that, I just tell somebody, I'm just like, I can't ring her. Y'all need to ring her. I can't do it or we're going to end up fighting. So even though she pretends that she doesn't remember me, but every time she comes in, she gives me such a look and attitude like she really hates me. I don't know why she hates me. I don't know why. Obviously, probably because she got caught by me. But, like, I didn't have any personal issues with her. I didn't even know her. I still don't really care for her, you know, and she, like, I don't even give her, like, okay, I don't give her attitude when she went to Rue. I kind of just like, yeah, you know, like, I would just give her, like, basic customer service. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, you know, like go above and beyond like I usually do. Like, I did it because I didn't care. I'm just like, dude, I'm like over you. And you're just going to give me these looks. So if you're not going to do anything about it, then you could just go. Like, you're just giving me looks. Like, it was supposed to bother me, you know? And it was just so annoying because every time she would do that. And then I remember one time I told my associate that was with me that day, I had told her, I was just like, hey, me and her, we can't. So you're going to have to help her. And I remember when she was ringing her up, she was like being all nice to her, being all cool, and then, you know, and I'm just like, of course, because she does, you know, she's fake. Like, she's gonna do that to you now, but the next time she sees you, she's probably gonna be a bitch to you because for why? For no reason. So yeah, so that's her, and she still lives in town. Thank God I don't work in retail anymore where I have to see her because I'm like so over her. Like, I'm just like, she's hating me for no reason, so that's her problem anyway. But anyway, so that was shoplifter number 1. Shoplifter number 3 actually was kind of a newer one. Compared to the other 2 that I'm going to mention. So I'm just going to mention this guy really quick because it's a short one. So for this one, I don't recommend doing this, and I'm only saying this because I don't work there anymore and I don't work retail anymore. So I'm only going to say this, and I know they told us not to. Okay, let me just explain, okay? If somebody walks out of the store with an item that was stolen, do not walk out and get the item. Okay, because you'll never know what they have concealed. You'll just never know. And I'm only saying that because someone told me that, even though, you know, I'm just gonna, okay. That's never a good idea and it's not worth it. And I know that now. I know that now. Not that I got stabbed or anything, but I'm just saying, I know that now. But it was a very busy day. I think it was a weekend, and I think it was only me and my associate. I was the only manager on duty, and we were pretty busy. And I try to keep track of where everyone is all at the same time, but sometimes I get sidetracked or I'm with a group for a while because they're talking to me, or people just go in and out fairly quickly. So I can only keep track of so many people, you know, and my associate can only, you know, she has to be the one ringing. So she's up there, not fully paying attention to the floor. That's what I'm there for, you know. So I remember walking around the register or whatever. I walked in the girls section. This is at Rue, by the way. We have the girls section, the registers in the middle, and then we have the guys section on, if you're looking at it on the right side, the girls is on the left, the registers are in the middle. So I was in the girls section, I forgot what I was doing, and then I hear the sensor-matic go off, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So then I walk towards, and then me and my associate meet halfway past the registers, and then she's like, did that really just happen? I'm just like, what are you talking about? She's like, that guy, he's like, I think he just took something, and I'm like, are you serious? And right there, my blood was boiling, and I was pretty angry. So I did what you're not supposed to do. and I walked out and I followed him. So it's really bad. I'm sorry, Mom, if you're watching this. I'm sorry. But I did go after him. And I went over there and then I was like, did you forget something in it? And then he was just blurting words. I don't really remember what he said, but he was like mumbling a lot too. And then I was like, oh, maybe we forgot to take off sensor or something. Do you mind if I take a look? Do you need some help? Is there anything? I just kept asking him questions and I walked faster. I caught up to him pretty fast too. And I remember we turned the corner towards the back entrance and I saw a denim jacket with our sensor on it, and then I was like, oh, that, I think you're gonna need help with that. And then he's like, what did he say? I don't remember what he said. Again, this happened so fast. But anyways, as I saw the jacket, I said something, and I quickly grabbed the jacket from his hand, and he tried holding it back, but I ripped that shit out of his arm. Okay, I ripped that shit out, and I fucking walked back to the store, and he was like saying some words. And I just walked into the store and I brought the fucking jacket back like I just won a prize. Literally, I was just like, I got the jacket, we're good. And everybody was just like, what the fuck? Like, I literally just ripped that jacket out of that man's hand and brought it back inside. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I was pissed off that he did that and made me feel stupid. But now I feel stupid for going out there and doing that. But anyways, yeah, so I did that. And I called security and told them, he had our item, and then, we got it back, so it's not a problem, but he is a shoplifter. So I let him know he is a thiefer. So you need to go help him. You need to go get him. And I told him the description of the guy and blah, blah, blah. But he never came back after that, probably because he knew not to fuck with me. So that's so bad that I actually went after him. That's so bad now that I'm thinking about it. That's awful. You should never do that. But I was very angry, and, that was just a different time in my life, okay? So, but yeah, I got it back. So anyways, that's shoplifter number 2. So shoplifter number 3 is just is a funny one. So I'm gonna share. I still can't believe I did that. Actually, I got another shoplifter that I need to talk about too. But anyways, all right, going to shoplifter number 3. So this one's a funny one. So this lady comes in. She's like an older woman. Well, not old lady, but she looked like she was probably in her like 40s, I would say. But she looked older, but she could have been in her 40s, but not a good 40s, And she was in the choni section. I remember talking to her, blah, blah. She did have this guy with her the first time, but then he walked out and never saw him again. But yeah, so she was in the choni section, looking at bras and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of busy, and I didn't really think of watching her really, because she kind of played her cool, and she looked a little crazy in the eyes. Like, she had the eyes where she's just like, like very like wide open eyes, like those. Anyways, yeah, so then she asked if she'd go try on the bras, but I think, oh no, she didn't ask. Now that was the second time. This is the first time. Apparently, I don't know how, but she got into the fitting room. Either she walked in when somebody walked out, or she went under, or somebody didn't close the door all the way and she just walked in, right? And you can't try on underwear because they're censored, and that's gross. But you could try on the bras, but you can't try on underwear. So I'm assuming she went in there, and I think one of the other managers was with me, and no, this was the second time. I'm mixing it up. The first time, I went over there and I asked her, like, hey, like, did anybody let you in here? And then she's like, oh no, I'm sorry. The door was open, so I just walked in. I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever items that you don't need, go ahead and leave them outside on the bar, because genuinely some people don't know that they're supposed to ask. They genuinely think that they could just walk in, because a lot of the fitting rooms around other places are like that too. So, sometimes I'm just like, oh, okay, well, they don't know, even though there's a sign on the fitting rooms. But anyways, yeah, so then it was busy. I didn't think anything of it. And then she kind of walked around the corner, and then she just walked out. And I was just like, okay, whatever. So then I go back. I don't remember how many transactions, maybe like 1 or 2 transactions. I went to the fitting room to double check, clean out the rooms or whatever. And then I noticed on the bar, I see some bras and maybe like 1 panty. But there were sensors in between. So they were like, she kind of like bundled it together up on the rack with the sensors in there. So I'm like, so when I went and tried to like fix them and spread them, so I could fix them, sensors fell out. And I'm like, well, I know exactly who this was, and I was pretty angry and pissed off. So, but she came a second time. I think it was probably not the day after, but the 2 days later, she came back, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I know what kind of game you're trying to play now. So now it's me and the other manager of that day, and I told him, like, hey, last time she stole stuff, so we need to watch her, And then I remember she was trying to go into the fitting room. I was following her the whole time. She was trying to go in there, and then I was like, "Oh, were you trying to get into the fitting room? Do you need to get in?" And then she said, "Oh yeah." And then she had bras and underwear again. And I was like, "Okay, well you can't try on underwear, so I'm gonna take those and hold them at the register for you." And then, oh, by the way, she had like a lot of bras and underwear. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna hold the underwear up there for you, and then you can take 6 at a time. So here's 6, and I'll have the other ones. And when you're ready, we can swap. You know, pretty much telling her like, you're not gonna take all of these in there because I'm gonna hold them and I'm gonna help you. Like I literally was going back and forth, and I was standing in front of the who's calling me? Sorry. Anyways, I was standing in front of that fitting room the whole time. Anyways, so yeah, so she obviously didn't steal anything because she kept, you know, she knew that I was there and I was watching her, so she didn't even try. But I still heard cracking sounds, you know, after a while. I don't remember how long, but I was there, so I'm like, she's probably trying, but she's not going to succeed, you know. But anyways, so she's done with the fitting room. She walks out and she's going through the girls section, and then I walk over there with her, and I noticed that she has some of the stuff in her hand. I think it was like some bras and some underwear, and I'm like, oh, did those work out for you? And then she's like, yeah, I'm just gonna look around. I'm like, oh, okay. She looked like she was trying to walk out towards the exit, towards the front of the store, and trying to leave, but I just kept following her, kept walking with her all the way out. And then she finally was just like, you know what? I have to use the restroom. Can I leave these with you? And then I was like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, go ahead. Walks out. I look at the items after she leaves, of course. And the sensors aren't there. There's holes in them. There's holes in the bras and underwear. And I'm like, you tried it, bitch. You tried it. So that was that day. And then I see her a week later, and it's me and an associate. And I'm just like, oh, hell no. So then right when she walks in, I was like, I'm sorry, you're no longer allowed to shop here. And then she was just like, why? As if she didn't do anything. She's like, oh, why? And I'm just like, you know why. So I'm going to have to ask you to leave, or I'm going to call security and he can escort you out. And then she just looked at me with the eyes and then walked out. So that was the end of her. That was so stupid. Like, why would you give me the items that have the holes in it? Obviously, the sensors are missing. You give it to me. Because, you know, like, I know that it was you, obviously. That was so stupid. And it was funny how she's just like, why? Like, what? Like, huh? What do you mean, why? Like, you should know why. Like, I'm not stupid. Anyways, so that was that shoplifter. And I never saw her after that. I did kick her out, so never saw her after that. All right, so now this next shoplifter, I'm going to say 4. Is this 4? Yeah, wait. First one, second one. Third one. Yep, this is 4. Shoplifter 4. Okay, I have 5 in total. So shoplifter number 4. This was like, I think this is like the second shoplifter I've dealt with. First or second, I don't quite remember. But anyways, so it was an older white woman. She came in with these other 2 people who shopped there before. One was a mom and one was a daughter, right? And they shopped there before, and I've known them from Styles for Less also. I recognize the girl especially. Like, I recognize, well, the mom too. I recognize him from Styles, so I'm just like, you know, whatever. And I guess she came in with this friend. I guess this friend, you know, she wanted to bring her here because she loves to hear blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, like, nice to meet you, whatever. This lady was dressed odd. She had her hair all gross, and she had a box of tissues with her the whole time. And she looked like she was sick or whatever. And this was like before pandemic and everything, like way before. So this was like a long time ago. And then, you know, I didn't think anything of it. You know, I was like, whatever. And then it was me and the other part-time manager that, you know, and we were friends. So we were just kind of like talking and like hanging out, just letting people shop because I didn't think anybody was like, you know, bad. So I was just like letting them shop, you know, just give them some space, you know. And then after a few minutes, they kept going around the store and they were chatting and, you know, having a good time. So I was like, okay, cool. They're having a fun. They're, you know, they're probably going to buy a lot of stuff. So I remember, I think I was going to ring this customer and then she was very upset. I forgot why she was upset, but she was upset. And then, you know, and I was trying to talk to her and then she's like, I'm sorry, but I just have to tell you because it's not right what's happening. It's just not right. But those people over there, they're stealing from you. And then I was just like, huh? Like, what do you mean? And then she's like, they're literally stealing from you back there. So then I looked behind me and told the other manager, like, hey, dude, like, can you go check it out, you know, while I finish this transaction? And she's like, yeah. She goes over there and I try talking to the customer, you know, trying to calm her down. And she comes back, the manager comes back and she comes back with a sensor, and I'm like, where'd you find that? And then she's like, back there where they're at. And I'm like, okay. So then I was just like, if you can finish this transaction and help her out, I'm gonna go back there and handle it, you know. And I had the sensor in my hand and blah blah. And then they were by the underwear at that time, you know, and I just went up to the lady and whatever, the weird looking one, you know, the one that was kind of being weird. And then I went up to her and I'm like, are you forgetting something? Or, you know, and then she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, well, I'm just asking if you're forgetting something or if you need help with something. And then she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I was like, oh, okay. So then she was just standing around there, and then I like, you know, I just kind of turned my head for like a second, and then they walked away, and I looked over, I looked back in the underwear bin, there's a fucking sensor in there too, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they're definitely stealing shit. And then I'm like, okay, you guys are gonna have to give me the items, or we're gonna have to ask you guys to leave. And then she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, you can look at my bag right now. Look at my bag. We're not supposed to look in people's bags, by the way. We're not supposed to. Legally, I cannot look into your bag. So she was literally trying to get me to look into her bag, trying to get me in trouble, you know? And then I did not. I had eye contact with her the whole time. I did not look at her bag because I know legally I cannot. I cannot touch it. She could empty it if she wants. Like, she could have, like, flipped it over and emptied it if she wanted to. But she didn't do that. She offered, but she didn't do it. But anyways, yeah, so she was trying to get me to look in her bag and blah, blah. She's like, I have my friend here and her 15-year-old daughter. I would not do that. Blah, blah. I'm just like, okay, so now you're getting in my face, so we're going to have to go call security. And then she's like, okay, well, I'll walk with you. So she literally walks with me to the register. I grab the phone, I call security, and she just stands there like a Karen. Just stands there waiting for me. And then security comes, and I walk over there with him, and then he's like, hey. And then I tell him, like, hey, she's stealing items from her store. I found sensors. I asked her to leave, but she's getting in my face. And then the security tries to tell her, like, hey, if she's asking you to leave, you gotta go. Like, you can't argue with her. It's their store. You gotta go when they say you gotta go. And then she goes off telling the security guard. She's like, oh, I want to take her name. I want to file a complaint. I'm gonna call corporate and blah blah. And then I was like, well, my name's Yasmin. So you can do that if you'd like. But I mean, I'm doing this for a very like you're stealing from our store, and I'm just asking you to leave. So and then she's like, oh, honey. And she puts her hand on my fucking shoulder. She's like, oh, honey. And then I literally backed up and I was
like, don't touch me. Like, I literally fucking told her, don't fucking touch me, dude. Like, don't touch me.
And then she's like, well, you're wrong. And I'm going to call corporate. And I was like, go ahead. My name's Yasmin if you know, want to let them know. I don't care. But anyways, she walked out. She walked out screaming and blah, blah. I didn't kick out the mom and the daughter because they've shopped there before. And although after that whole situation happened, ever since that, I would still watch them just in case. But anyways, yeah, so that happened. And I never saw that lady again. The lady never came. The mom and daughter still shop there a lot. Of course, I still watch them, but like nothing like that happened again. So my theory is that maybe that lady, because every time she was like close to the jewelry, like she would touch things really weird. Like pretend it's a jewelry, like she would like touch it like this. Like she wouldn't like look at it like this and look at the back for price. Like she would just like, you know, like she would just touch them, you know, like weird. And then she would blow her nose like this and then put it in the tissue box. Like she put tissues back in the box. And I'm like, my theory is that she was using that tissue box to throw shit in there, like the underwear or something. Or she had something in there that she used to take sensors off. I don't know, but that is my theory. But anyways, so that happened and never saw the lady again. Thank God. And they did send me an email about that situation. But the other manager who was there with me was a witness and did tell her like, hey, they found a sensor. They told they were stealing. They were very, you know, just explain the whole situation and what happened. So pretty much in my defense, you know. But anyways, that was shoplifter number 4. Shoplifter number 5. Well, shoplifters number 5. So with this situation, it was a family. It was a mom, a dad, a kid. I think he was probably like 6 years old, and a grandma. They came in. The girl already looked off. Like she looked like she was on something, and she had a tattoo on her neck and had a piercing on her face, and her hair and her face just didn't look right. And then the guy had tattoos, and he looked kind of like, you know, wore baggy jeans, which is always a bad sign in the first place because they can just, you know. And then the grandma, she looked fine, and then there's just a kid, you know, whatever. I usually don't think of anything when they have a kid too, because I'm just like, what kind of parent would want to steal things with their kid right next to them? Well, anyways. It does happen, by the way. People come in with strollers and throw shit in the stroller and steal. So I'm just saying it happens with or without a kid. Like, unfortunately, even if they have a newborn with them, they'll still steal and use it as like an excuse. Be like, I wouldn't steal with my baby here. I'm just like, yes, you fucking would. Yes, you would. Anyways, so they come in, whatever, and then the guy goes into the guy section, the girl goes into the girl section, so it's the grandma, and the kid's just running around everywhere, whatever. And then I noticed that so this is also a thing, when they don't really look at price tags and they grab items very quickly, like the guy was just looking at jeans, throwing his arm, look at jeans, throwing his arm, look at jeans, like he was just grabbing shit. And then the girl was also grabbing things, just like, just being like, oh, this is nice. This is nice. This is nice. They not really did they really pay attention to sizes either. So they just kind of grab shit, And I remember I first let the girl into the fitting room, and I let them know, hey, it's only 6 at a time. I can have the other items up here, and then I can let you swap or whatever. And then she's like, okay. So I put her in the second fitting room where there's an opening, like an entryway where I can see her and I can see her feet. And she was in there, blah, 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 and I knew exactly what she had. In particular, these jeans, very expensive. So there was a size 0 and a size 2. And they were expensive jeans. They're like $40 jeans. So, of course, I wrote that in my head, like, hey, there's really expensive jeans in there. I need to make sure that I get both of those pairs back. And then while she was in there in the middle of trying things on, blah, 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 then the guy asks me for a fitting room. And I let him into the fourth fitting room because I didn't want them together, like in the same one, like not the same one, but like next to each other in case they're trying to like do something, I put him one after that one. So I put him in that one, and he had jeans and joggers as well. So I made sure to keep track of that. I told him about the 6 at a time, blah, blah. And actually, I think he only didn't have that much. I don't remember that. But anyways, so when some time passes, I'm in there going back and forth, keeping an eye on them, making sure I grab items, blah, blah, while the grandma was shopping around the store. I think she was talking to somebody. I don't remember what she was doing. But I go over to the girl was done trying on and the guy was still in there. So she walks out and, I'm just like, oh, did you find everything okay? She's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, okay, cool. So, by the way, she did walk out of the fitting room straight to the clearance. By the way, I saw her physically walk out in that section. So, I go back to the fitting room to clear it out, and lo and behold, I'm missing a size 2 in the very expensive jeans. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm just like, well, where are they? So I go up to her and I'm like, hey, I'm missing a size 2 pair of jeans. Do you happen to know where you put them? And then she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, do you happen to know where you put those size pair 2 jeans? Because you had a size 0 and a size 2 of these same exact jeans. Do you know where you put the size 2? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm just like, okay, well, you're going to have to give me the jeans or tell me where you left them so I can put them away. And then she's like, well, I just threw them over there. I'm like, okay. So then I went, and then she told me she left them in the fitting room. And I was like, okay, well, I was in the fitting room and they're not in there. So where are they? She's like, oh, I don't know. I just walked over here and I put them over there. And I'm like, but you just said you put them in the fitting room. She gave me like 4 different scenarios on what she did after she came out of the fitting room, which was all lies because she came right out directly towards the clearance, which is right next to the fitting room. So I'm like, so then I start confronting her. I'm just like, dude, okay, so is it here? Is it there? Because you're giving me different stories and you're not telling me where the jeans are. So I need to know where you put them, or you need to give them to me right now, or I'm going to have to call security. And then she was very defensive. She's like, I don't know when you're talking about some jeans. I don't know anything. I'm like, those jeans right there that are in the size 0, I also need them back in a 2. So I need them back. Like, hello? Like, those exact jeans you had in 2 sizes, bro. And then she just kept being like, oh, I didn't do that. But she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have to go. And then by then I had called security. And then actually I kicked her out. Now that I remember, I was like, okay, if you're not going to hand me those jeans, then this situation's over and you're going to have to go. So you got to go. So I called security and I let him know what does she look like and blah, blah, blah. But he didn't come up in time until after, which is so annoying. They're so slow. Oh, I hate that. Anyways, so then I kicked her out. I went to the back to tell the guy, like, hey, I just kicked your girlfriend now, so I'm going to have to kick you out too because you're with her. And then he's like, are you serious? What did she do? And blah, blah. I can't tell you that right now. I just need you to go right now. Like, you guys have to go. And then he walks out. Bro, let me tell you, this was the most funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Remember he had baggy jeans, right? But they weren't like baggy, okay? Like they still had some, they were loose. He comes out. and his pants are tight. And they're the same pants, but they look like he had a pair of joggers under there. You can tell he had sweatpants, like you know when you wear sweatpants underneath your jeans, thick sweatpants. Yeah, and he was walking all funny, like he was just walking. He wasn't walking. He was walking slow. You can tell that there were joggers under there, bro. And I'm just like, I don't like. I was such in shock, and it was just like. I didn't even say anything. I'm just like, he's just gonna go. I just let him go. It was the most funniest thing I've ever seen anybody do. Like, literally, that's why I'm saying, like, baggy jeans are also bad. You need to keep an eye on people with baggy clothes because they can still put things in their pants or, like, up their shirt and stuff. You'll never know with people like that. Like people do that shit. But anyways, it was so freaking funny. Like, I was dying so bad. I'm just like, well, like, afterwards. Obviously, the first time I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, seriously, dude? And I was just right behind him walking as he was, like, trying to walk. So I'm just like... It was freaking hilarious. Anyways, he walks out, and then left is the grandma and the kid. And she has a bunch of shit in her hand, too. And then she was like, oh, I was wondering if I could try this on. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're with them, so I'm going to have to kick you out, too. And then she's like,
are you fucking serious? Are you fucking kidding me? I was going to buy all this shit.
She just threw on the register, walked out. I'm just like, you were not going to buy all that shit. You were going to steal all that shit. Like, you're all horrible people, and you're all going to steal it. So, no, I'm not going to, no. Like, she was so mad. She's like, I was going to buy all this. Like, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. Anyways, so that was the end of that. Never saw them again. The other managers, the store manager now, she knows what girl I'm talking about. I think the other one does too, but they know which one I'm talking about. And it was just so freaking funny. Like, on this, like, it's just funny how when you confront them and they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do that. I don't know what you're saying. Or they changed the story like 4 different times. I'm just like... I mean, 8 years of retail, bro, I already know, you know, like it's easier to just give the item back and to leave than to have to argue with me because you just sound stupid. And there was a lot of people that day, too. They're just watching her like, are you being stupid? Like, they heard her going back and forth with the stories. But anyways, that was the last really big shoplifter story. And I hope I told the stories right because in my head, I'm playing so many things in my head that I wanted to make sure I said everything. But anyways, I'm probably going to edit this and watch and be like, I either didn't make sense or I left a lot of stuff out. But I tried my best. But anyways, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys did enjoy this tea time. I hope it wasn't too long or too short. And I hope I made sense in my stories. Because sometimes when I'm explaining a story, I can't really get my head to explain it that well, but I hope I did my best and I hope you guys saw the stories in your imagination. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you guys want another tea time video. I have other ideas in mind to talk about. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!